Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and pleased to be, it's Debsy. That's me. Boop, Debsy. Hey guys, that was going off the rails quickly. So, hey guys, yeah, so as you know, you didn't get a video from me yesterday. I know, I said the day before, like, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, but I was just not having a great day. It's terrible. It was terrible. So here I am, there's so many great things going on. Listen, it is Friday, so it is the weekend. It is payday for me. Hooray! And most importantly, it is the end of the longest month in the history of months to ever month in a year, in forever. February 2025 was officially 478 days long. Like, I needed to get the fudge right on out of that month. So because of all those things, I'm celebrating by making myself a cup of hot cocoa. I put a little bit of Ready Whip on top. We are going to spill the tea because, listen, I'm going to go over the Real Housewives of New York, the Roni reunion, the first part. And I still have to watch, I did watch Real Housewives Salt Lake City reunion, the first part. However, was it the first part? No, second part. However, I did not make notes, so I have to rewatch it. I have to make the notes, and I will get back to you guys tomorrow with that. Okay, so let's get into Roni's reunion. Was this the, yeah, this was, yes. Yeah, this was the first one. Yeah, this was the first part. Okay, so let's get into it. So Brynn shows up. The ladies are showing up to get all dolled up for the reunion. Brynn shows up. She goes in to talk to Jessel, and she's like, hey, she's really acting like nothing was going on. And she's like, hey, how are you? How's everything going? How you doing? Who does that remind me of? That reminds me of one of my, if you're going to ask me who one of my favorite Real Housewives is, my answer would be to Linda Medley. Dorinda Medley. Hi, how you doing? How you doing? I tell you how I'm doing. Not well, bitch. If anyone ever asks, who is Debsy's favorite housewife in Real Housewives history? Up there is definitely Dorinda Medley. I love her. So Brynn walks in and she's like, hey, how you doing? I have to stop doing that, or I'm going to keep going down the Dorinda Medley path. But Brynn was like, what was that? But Brynn walked in really like nothing happened. Like everything was cool. Like people were just going to forget about stuff, or like she didn't even remember what happened. She's like, oh, hi, how's everything going? I think everybody's great. And really, Jessel was kind of like, is this bitch okay? So then Brynn then watched the finale on her phone while she was getting makeup done. I would have thought that she would have watched it by then, but she didn't. So everybody comes out. I'm going to tell you this much right now. That robe, it really was a robe that Jenna was wearing. It looked better than I thought it would. However, it was a robe. I mean, the other ladies went in and got hair done and makeup done and got like big dresses, and then I mean, if anybody could carry it off, it would be Jenna Lyons wearing a robe. I'm just going to say, I wasn't super impressed. That's all. I'm just saying. And then Brynn walks in with that. She said she was channeling Zsa Zsa Gabor. I thought she was channeling more of like a Mrs. Roper. Erin is very pregnant. She is cinched in that gold. Typically, I would say I don't like it. I didn't mind it on her. For me, the best dressed was Jessel. I think it's Jessel. I really did like what Sai was wearing, but my favorite was absolutely Jessel. And Uba is saying she's not Uba hot, she's Uba zen, but let's see if that remains to be the case at the end. As we find out, Bryn and Uba, they have not talked since the opening sequence shoot. And in my mind, Jessel had third seat and over here with Bryn, Jenna, and Jessel. And over here, it was first seat. Who was first seat? Over here. Who was first seat over here? First seat over here, was it Erin? Or was it Sai? Anyways, I think it was Erin. It was Erin, Sai, and then Raquel. To be honest with you, I think they should have switched out, Erin or Uba. No, it was Uba. That's it. It was Uba, Erin, Sai, and Raquel. I feel like Raquel and Jessel could have switched sides just because it made more sense to have Raquel sitting next to the person she's closest to. That way, which is Jenna. And that way, I felt like Jessel fit more on the other side because she's besties with Uba. But that's neither here nor there. So they had some questions for Jenna. Question of why Cass, her fiance, is not on the show. And she said, well, it's because she hates it. She just doesn't like the show and she doesn't want to be on. Are Cass and Jenna already married? There has been some talk about that. And she said that they did have a small emotional ceremony in Texas. That wasn't legal. Did you guys catch it though when Andy had said that he saw them at a party and Cass kind of just wouldn't even talk and just wanted to get out. Well, Jenna had said that it's because 7 people before that had come up and wanted to talk and she just wanted to leave. And then she said Bezos showed up and the party she said something like the party was changing or was taking a turn or something like that. Jeff Bezos. See, when somebody says something like that, then I'm in my mind, I was like, what are you talking about? Like a Diddy turn? Did he Amazon Prime some baby oil or something? I'm just saying. Okay. So Sai and Pavit. The question was, have you apologized? Sai, have you apologized to Pavit for calling him a fish? Sai was like, no, I have not. She's not going to. And Sai, have you gotten an apology from Pavit for calling her a bitch and for calling her bipolar? She has not. I can understand why that would be hurtful for Sai, because number one, being called a bitch is never fun. However, her mother was bipolar. I could see how that would be very hurtful. Jessel, on the other hand, was kind of tit for tat because, well, you did level some allegations against Pavit, saying that when he was going to Vietnam that he was going for international sex. He was going to have a fling, which wasn't the case. So there may be an apology coming from Pavit. Sai's definitely not going to apologize. Then they talked to Raquel, and it came out that, and this made me just sad, that Raquel's mom, remember Raquel had said in Puerto Rico that she would really like her mom to come and visit them. And her mom kept saying, I'm scared of flying. I'm scared of flying. I'm scared of flying. So as it turns out, she has not visited them in New York City. So you would think, okay, well, we can get the FaceTime set up on the iPad and everything will be good. That hasn't even worked out. Like, she hasn't talked to the kids on the iPad, FaceTiming. She hasn't talked to Mel. I don't think it's going to happen. And that makes me sad because I don't have children, but if I did, if my child would come out as either gay or lesbian or transgender or anything, that's your kid. That's your child. That person came from you. You are to love not just that child, you're to love everybody unconditionally, like regardless of how they present, who they identify as. I think that's terrible. And because of that, she's losing this special relationship and a special bond with her grandkids. And as living in a house with a mother who has lost out on relationship with her grandkids, not for her lack of trying. I'm gonna say anything else. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. So I can imagine for Raquel, it's heartbreaking. And for her kids, it's heartbreaking. That's terrible. It makes me sad. So the question to Sai, who heard Sai say she hated Jenna? So nobody heard her say, I hate Jenna. Sai said, she had said, she's not for me. People are saying, Brynn said, Sai said she hates you. Wait, how do I have this written down? People are saying, Brynn said Sai said she hates Jenna. Because Jenna on the first episode, when they were like, who told you that I said I hate you? And she was like, this one over here. And she pointed at Brynn. And Andy was like, do you see now, watching it back, how that looks? And she's like, I do see that. I'm so sorry. And then, listen, I'm going to tell you, Brynn realized she got caught in the lies in the finale and just starts up then with this narrative that Aaron and Sai were coming into the season and they were going to gang up on her and they were going to put this narrative out there of trying to get people to like Sai more by liking Brynn less. Like, that's what Sai was thinking, or that's what Brynn was thinking. Brynn was probably thinking, listen, I was a fan favorite last season. They're going to come in gunning for me and they're going to spread this shit and they're going to be terrible to me. And so that Sai has a great season and I have a terrible season. And Sai was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you did that. And you put that narrative out. You put that out there to get people like you more and me less. This was an effort between the two of you for like 5 weeks. You put me through hell. Well, how did we put you through hell? So, but listen, first of all, before we even got with how did I make your life hell, I'm going to give it to her, Sai, because this is exactly correct. And this is right. I did not like Sai last season. This season, she renewed herself. I liked Sai this season. This season was really, you got to see how manipulative and how self-producing Brynn was. Brynn was the one who would take all of these stories and she would embellish them. When you embellish that much, it's a lie. When you embellish at all, it's a lie. So we all got to see how she is. And I'm going to also tell you another thing. With Brynn, the thing that got me with Brynn would go from crying hysterically, and then 2 seconds later, she's just stone cold face. She's stone faced, just no emotion. That doesn't, no. Very manipulative. So what did Cy and Aaron do? What exactly did they do to make Brynn miserable? Well, she says that they were continuously screaming at her, and they were not continuously screaming at her. They screamed at her on the first episode. And then she says, Aaron called me, like, she called me 5 different things. She tore me down 5 different ways, or 6 different ways. And Aaron was like, I don't think that's true. That, however, was true. She did call her things like soulless and dumb and not a good friend and stuff like that. So that is true. However, somebody yelling at you is going to, I don't know, is going to make you miserable for 5 weeks. I mean, maybe if you have a lot of other things going on and you're in like a fragile state of mind, but they didn't yell at her for 5 weeks. Brynn, and here's the thing, Brynn caused chaos with everyone. She caused chaos and problems with Aaron, with Cy, with Jessel. But here's the thing, all of that involved Aaron. Like, Cy said she hates you, Jess, or Cy said she hates you, Jenna, or hey, Jenna, Aaron called you poor, or hey, Jessel, hey, Jessel, Jenna said you were a basic bitch, which she didn't at all. None of those people said any of those things. And when Aaron, and everybody admits that when Aaron said something about Jenna and the Uber, and Aaron paying for the Uber, she said it, everybody admits that she said it like jokingly in a funny way, not as to really rip her down and say, oh my God, she's poor. Here's my question though. I was thinking about it. Was Brynn stirring the pot because she doesn't want anybody else to get like super close to Jenna because she has that close friendship with Jenna? Is she getting a little jealous? That's what I was wondering. Oh, there goes the hot chocolate burps. What's that? The hot chocolate burps? So Brynn says, listen, I don't embellish. What I do is I hear the story and then I immediately go to tell that person, which is not true. Otherwise, there would just be no issues this season. If you just went and you said exactly what the person said, you took what that person said, and then instead of it passing through like 18 telephones on the way to get over here, if you just said what they said and came over here and said, exactly that, this, that, there, nothing, no embellishments, no extra sauce added. But she does, because if she didn't, then no one would have any problems or any issues. And listen, Jenna said it in a great way. She said that when Brynn retells a story, the intent of the original story gets lost in that retelling, and then people get hurt. And she said, just acknowledge that. Just take ownership of it and just acknowledge it. And here's the thing that I've noticed about Brynn. When Brynn is telling these stories, she gets a look on her face that's almost like happy. You know what I mean? Has anyone else noticed that? That when she tells the story, if it's, talking shit on somebody, usually it's Jessel, that she does that. Her lips, I don't know how to do or how to explain it, but it's almost like she's not upset telling the story. Like, she's happy that she's telling it. That's what I've noticed. Then they get to that text about like the carbon monoxide or dioxide, whichever it was, that text. Brynn says, I wrote it about myself, and then starts crying, and then again completely changes her face, and then starts putting Sai down. Like, she's like, the difference between you and me is when I write text, it's about the periodic table. When you write text and put downs, it's about Pixar. It's about Pixar because who was it? Because Sai, when she said about Pavitt's doppelganger being Dory from Finding Nemo, she has to go to that. I hate when she does that. When she just starts, when she just implies that she's so much better than the other ladies. Like, I'm quoting the periodic table, and you're quoting and you're using Pixar. I fly first class, and you're commercial. I hate when she does that. It's very condescending. But for real though, listen, Sai then asked a very important question. What do you do? But for real, what do you do? She didn't answer the question, and she just leaned back and said, I do your job, and then laughed. Like that real awkward, weird laugh. I mean, because is it marketing? I thought it was marketing, but then she's like, there's a dating app. I don't know. Like, it's a very valid question. Okay. Speaking of before of Jenna with the poor statement, did anybody else catch in between on break? And Jenna and Brynn were talking. Jenna, Brynn, and Andy were talking. Andy said to Jenna, hey, can I get that? Can I get your robe for BravoCon? And very quietly, Jenna was like, I was gonna return it. It's kind of expensive. So I'm like, oh shit, is it $50,000? Is it like, what is it? Is it like $1 million? It's $1,500. Now listen, I myself don't just have on hand $1,500. I can be like, here, give me this Balenciaga robe, which, let's be honest, Balenciaga, not a brand that you should be wearing anyways, but problematic. But Jenna Lyons, I'm thinking she would have $1,500 for a robe. And then even Brynn was like, look at this. See this atrocity that I'm wearing? That looks like, that looks like fucking Mrs. Roper. I bought this straight out, $7,000, even though nobody knows what I do for a living. Seriously, like, when you put together that she's returning the robe and that she needed to sell her clothes to get dental work, I don't know. I thought she was super wealthy. Anyways, okay, next up, a very dark, now listen, trigger warning. This is a dark subject, a dark topic matter. So I want to put that out there. It's about essay. Brynn was talking about her essay. Sadly, it was at the hands of somebody that she knows and someone who was courting her at the time. And she still sees this guy from time to time, around town. And the question was, did you ever consider pressing charges? She had said that she did consider pressing charges, but it's so hard to do unless you actually go immediately and you report it immediately. But so often, all you want to do is just go home and you want to just shower like 1,000 times with bleach to get rid of everything. And so she did not. But Jenna brought up an excellent point that women often don't report and have a hard time reporting because of the fact that they're vilified. They're the ones who are then put under this microscope and it's turned on them. Like, what did you do to encourage this? And it's so, that right there is a lot of times what stops women from reporting it, from bringing it to light. And it's terrible. I mean, so they get away with it. So they just get away with it because rather than being believed, they're made into the ones who did something wrong. And that's terrible. And I'm going to tell you, Uba's reaction to all of this makes me realize she never would have said what she said if she knew about this. So that was a very deep part of it, a very dark part of it. And she had even said, Andy said something like, I know that this has obviously helped people. And she's like, I know, I wish I wouldn't have brought it up. I felt terrible for her. Speaking of Uba has moved in with Oliver, sold her place in New York City, and she's looking at possibly getting her fibroid out and starting to have kids. Jessel confronted Brynn about the fact that Brynn said during the Jessel conference in Puerto Rico that when the question was asked, who is the love of your life, that Jessel said one of my ex-boyfriends. She confronted her. I was really hoping that she would. So Brynn said that Jessel, instead of saying Pavitt, said an ex-boyfriend. Listen, I am glad that Jessel stood up for herself. Jessel said, you distorted my words. We were talking about what's the craziest hookup, not who is the love of your life. You twisted my words and you lied. And Jessel's at home sitting there with Pavitt watching all of this. Pavitt's completely quiet and she's like, I did not say that. She is lying. I did not say that. Pavitt's quiet and he doesn't believe her. Meanwhile, also, here is Jessel's family watching this. I mean, they had to watch all of this. And Jessel's absolutely right. When she says she doesn't know how she can be friends with somebody who takes like so much joy in shit talking her, because she was like, here's you three. Here's Aaron and you and Sai. And Sai apologized. And she's like, here's you three taking such joy in talking about me. So how can I be friends with somebody who has that kind of character that is just going to find bonding in spreading lies about me? Which it's exactly what it was. To me, she did that on purpose. She absolutely 100% did that on purpose. And she didn't even, And she didn't even look upset that she did that this happened and that this was her reaction. She didn't even seem upset in the least bit. Instead of Brynn apologizing, she tried to defend what she said. Her face during all of that, it said exactly what she thought. Even if she would have said a half-assed apology, I wouldn't have believed it. Okay? She doesn't care about how it hurt Jessel. She just cares about the fact that it's all coming back on her now. She was a fan favorite in the first season. And second season, she was thinking, how am I gonna be an even bigger fan favorite? How am I gonna bring drama? But what you did was you self-produced and you burned a lot of bridges you ruined friendships. And you went from one of the favorites to one of the least favorites. So I hope you're happy. I keep hearing things that there's a blind item out there about a Roni housewife who has a big scandal hidden. And they said it's someone who cannot afford bad press right now. Everybody's thinking Brynn. I have not heard what the supposed scandal is, but it might be big. It sounds like the way they're talking, it's big. So I don't know. So that was the first. Wait, was that? Yeah, that was episode 1. So we're in for. I think they said 3. I think they could do this in 2. Okay, they could probably have done this in 1. So yeah, in the comments, let me know what you thought. And if nobody told you yet today, you were loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world. So it comes right back at you. Is that I thought that was a spider. I was like, when I see a spider, I would have screamed. Also, please take care of one another. Be aware of your surroundings. There's another burp. Be smart and safe. Hydrate often with water. And if you're in a dangerous situation, please always remember that Dolly and I are sending our love and thoughts and prayers and positive energy your way. There is a lot of crazy shit going on. Please, 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 please be safe. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.